All right, today we're going to take a look at graphing systems of inequalities. Earlier, a few days ago, you worked on graphing linear inequalities. Now we're going to be graphing two linear inequalities and determining if they meet and where they meet, and then their combined area that they meet is the solution. So we're going to look at the steps for graphing systems of inequalities. So the first thing we're going to do, our first step, is going to be to write in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we're going to get the y alone. So that's step one, is to get the y alone. We're going to move the other parts of the equation around to make sure that y is by itself. Step two, we're going to graph the y-intercept. Step three is going to be graph points using slope. Okay, step four is going to be draw our dashed or solid line. Okay, step five is going to be shade above or below. Excuse my handwriting. Shade above or below. Okay, step six is going to be repeat steps 1 through 5 for the second inequality. So we're going to do the same thing we just did with the first inequality. We're going to go back and repeat that process for our second inequality. And then step 7 is we're going to focus on combined shaded area. So those are our 7 steps. All right, again, remember, in order to shade above, we want the symbols greater than or equal to. To shade below, we want less than or equal to. Solid lines are greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, and then dashed lines are greater than or less than. All right, so we're going to start with the first inequality we have, which is 3x minus 4y is greater than 4. Again, our process is simple. We're going to move x. That will always be our first step. So I'm going to move x to the other side. So now I have a negative 4y is less than 4 minus 3x. I'm going to divide all my pieces by the number in front of y, which happens to be negative 4. Again, when I divide by a negative, I'm going to flip my symbol. Don't forget. 4 divided by negative 4 is a negative 1. And then negative 3 divided by negative 4 is a positive 3/4 x. All right, so then I go and I'm going to graph the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is at negative 1, so I'm going to put a dot at negative 1. My slope is going to be 3/4, so it's going to be up 3 and right 4. Up 3, right 4. Again, I'm going to look. My next part is deciding if I'm drawing a solid or a dashed line. Well, because my symbol is less than, I'm going to be drawing a dashed line. So I'm going to draw a dashed line that goes through my points. putting an arrow on the end, and then because my symbol is greater than, I'm going to shade above. So in this case, I'm going to use a color like orange, and I'm going to shade above my graph. All right, I'm going to go back to the second equation. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move x. In this case, it's just 1x. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So now I have 2y is less than or equal to 8 minus x. And again, I'm going to put a 1 in front of x just to remember that it's 1x. I'm going to divide by 2. So y is less than or equal to, no need to flip, 4 minus 1/2 x. All right, I'm going to go again. I'm going to plot my y-intercept, which in this case is positive 4. And I'm going to go to my slope. My slope is negative 1/2. That's down 1 and right 2, down 1 and right 2, and that process repeats. Now this time, when I go to draw my line, because my symbol is less than or equal to, I'm going to draw a solid line that goes through my points. And because my symbol is less than or equal to, I'm going to pick a different color than orange. I'm going to pick a purple this time, and then I'm going to shade below. Now, the key here is to focus on the space that has both purple and orange shaded in. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight that spot again by making it a little bit darker. But right in here, in between the two lines in this triangle, is the combined solution set for our problem. So our answer would be that space in between where both colors are shaded. That's our solution. So any point in that space would be a solution to this system of inequalities. Again, if you have any questions, please let your teacher know.